So it's a musical, and so I'm thinking musical intro, obvi. But I'm thinking, moi, spit some bars, maybe sing a little song, do a little dance, get down tonight, but me rap them. What do you say?
Hi, my name is. It doesn't matter what my name is. I'll take that old rock joke and make it basic. Anyways, I'm here at the movies, and like Bugs and Daft, yeah, I'm feeling kinda loony. You see, I got this YouTube channel. Let me give you a sample. Now let's see, how would I describe her? It's grade A content with not enough subscribers. And now I feel like I'm slacking with the same day premieres on HBO Max, and now I feel a responsibility to be a backer for the big screen. So let me say, butter, ices, seats that reclining, teasers, trailers, M&Ms, and lifesavers, tickets. No more tickets. We're not doing paper tickets anymore? No? Okay. Tickets, man, how I missed it. Speakers in the lobby, playing Limp Bizkit. Is that it? Yeah. Cool. Limp Bizkit, really? Cool. Man, what a night. All settled in the sea, in the heights.
Yo, absolutely not.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome to Tavern Talk. I am Philip, and joining me this week is Mr. Errick Jackson, who is an Arkansas-based photographer who has a great eye. Check out his Instagram, seriously, if you haven't already. But thank you for joining me this week, man. I appreciate it.
Thank you for inviting me. I mean, we're about to get into it, but I had a blast.
Awesome. Yeah, no, I did as well. And if you're curious, this week we're talking In the Heights, which is a new musical written by Lin-Manuel Miranda, directed by John M. Chu, who did Crazy Rich Asians most recently. But yeah, so the kind of bit on this show is initial reaction. We just walked out of the theater having seen In the Heights on the big screen. And yeah, let's dive right into it. What did you think? What is your initial reaction?
Man, I don't have enough good things to say about it. I had this face on the entire time. Every time there was any singing happening, I was smiling. It was impressive how much they took you through an emotional roller coaster throughout the plot of the whole movie. It's something I didn't expect, because I don't know, I feel like musicals kind of get cheesy, or they can be cheesy, and you don't expect like a really ranging plot to them. And so for it to take you through just kind of all these ups and downs, and kind of weave in, a lot of like social issues kind of subtly in there as well, was very interesting. But yeah, you just like, if you didn't feel attached to the characters like right off the jump, which is hard to not to, like you do by the end. So yeah, it was fantastic, great time.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. I hadn't really gotten to know any of Miranda's work before last summer. Like, obviously I'd heard about Hamilton, like everybody had, and but I hadn't got the chance to see it. And then when they put it on Disney Plus, I was like, got to see what all the fuss is about. But I never thought it would like live up to the hype. Like I just didn't think with that level of hype that it would be able to live up to it. Yeah. And then it kind of did, and I was like, oh, I totally get it. Yeah. Like I totally get it. And so going into this, I was excited, but I had no idea what this was about, what the story was, who the characters were. I'd heard a few of the songs, or like bits of the songs in the trailer, but nothing more than that. So this kind of blew me away. I love how he writes, like just his lyrics that are like, they're constant, but they all kind of run together. There's no, like, there are individual songs, but they all feel interconnected in a way that's just really cool, and I feel like is unique to his style.
No, it was definitely like this impressive mix of storytelling and musical artistry that, is more than just like a little 3-minute song. Like, everyone's living their lives in song, basically, in those different scenes, and there's also like a ton of variety. Because, I mean,
Yeah.
in terms of genre, they went all over the map and it worked. Like, I mean, just like all the different types of production that they were putting together, like musically, and of course, I mean, just like the choreography. I can't imagine having to put all that together or memorize, but they killed it. So, I mean, it was just like, it's a little bit of a masterclass on probably the best incorporation of just music, dance, and storytelling, like all in one. That was incredible.
Yeah, again, like I totally agree, because like I've always kind of wanted to make a musical, and just like, but because it's such a challenge, and you know it's such a challenge, but like combining everything and keeping it consistent throughout. And this movie, like, it's not a short movie. This is a 2-hour plus movie.
Yeah.
But like every musical sequence, I felt John Chu like found a cool, interesting way to convey it visually as well, you know, on top of the music that Miranda had written for it. And like there's certain ones with not everyone's abuela, but everyone's abuela. You know, there's ones with her that is kind of a slower paced song, but it's still like visually you get these things that are stunning, both visually and thematically. Like it really resonates. And then, you know, obviously the big choreographed numbers, whether it be like the 96,000 one at the pool or the opening number is insane. Just all the things he does with the camera that like livened it up even more than the music already did the tone. It was like, I don't know, I feel like a lot of musicals shoot for that and don't ever like reach it really, but this one kind of just blew past all those expectations and like fulfilled it completely.
That's kind of the beauty of like, you know, getting to actually take, because I feel like especially for musicals that are, you know, playwrights and that you see performed on stage, that's kind of the show that they want to put on, and you can do as much as possible in the production on stage, but this is that chance to like take it to the next level on camera, and, you know, put everything that a big movie budget would allow you to do in terms of, you know, costume design, choreography, different locations, a little bit of CGI here and there, to just like make something that you could only dream to have on stage and put that on the screen for people to see. I mean, I was slightly engrossed by just like how the lighting, for example, and everything was so beautiful, and that was probably the thing that lent me, like, it kind of lent itself to a musical style. Like, you could see like the lighting approach and set design of a musical on stage coming to the screen just off the lighting alone, and how clean it was, how everybody was well lit, but at the same time felt like they were in their environment. Like nothing felt off, but at the same time nothing felt hidden. Like everyone was fully seen. And of course, I mean, I guess you have to, if you're gonna have like however many 100 people dance at the same time and move the camera in crazy ways, but it was just really impressive how it was shot, how it was lit in a way that just let everybody shine, but still keep the focus where you needed it to be. You never really had any confusion about who the main character or who the subject of the song or the story was about in that moment. A lot of good things like happening correctly, just like all together, and that's really impressive because it's rare to be able to pull off something like that.
That's a 10.
Yeah, and it feels like it's even harder to pull that off with a musical for some reason. Like you got to hit so many more marks than with just than letting a regular scene play out. But no, I'm glad you brought up kind of the visual element. That, you know, obviously having a photographer's eye, I wanted to get, you know, your thoughts on the visual aspects of it. But you also, you know, we're talking about letting, you know, there's a lot going on here, multiple kind of storylines weaving together this story of this corner in New York, and I wanted to talk about the characters too, and kind of how they played into it. You know, obviously Usnavi is the main character, our protagonist. He's played by Anthony Ramos here, who was in Hamilton, who was in A Star Is Born as well. He had a smaller role in that. But dude is the star of this one. And then you got Corey Hawkins, who you might have seen in Straight Outta Compton. He played Dr. Dre. And then the cast is chock full of people. Like Leslie Grace is Nina, who's Benny's kind of love interest, and then Melissa Barrera is Vanessa, who is Anthony Ramos, Usnavi's love interest. But then just a whole cast of people, like Jimmy Smith shows up, Stephanie Beatriz, who's from Brooklyn Nine-Nine, is awesome. Mark Anthony shows up in a swing.
I love seeing her.
Yeah.
Like seeing her in Brooklyn Nine-Nine, I was like, that's Rosa.
Right, yeah.
And it's just like, that is not Rosa.
That's what I was about to say.
Your entire life is garbage.
I wanted to mention, too, Gregory Diaz, the fourth, is Sonny. I thought he was really good.
Yes. Yeah.
But yeah, just a good, strong ensemble, but we definitely know who the leads are as well. And like you said, I was really invested kind of from the get-go, but definitely by the ending when we saw their arcs kind of coming to a close.
Yeah, and it's like, it's nice when, obviously stories can sometimes become too one-dimensional. Like, a lot of movies fall into either too one-dimensional story or way too many things happening at once and not enough exposition to kind of tie everything together. And this feels like, for the most part, it really avoided falling into either of those traps. Everyone kind of went through these different stages of decision making, and I mean, even honestly, stages of their own personalities and how they looked at life to evolve their kind of final decisions that you reach to the end, to where, at the end, like, it doesn't end up how you think it was probably going to. And even if you maybe have an inkling of how it was going to end, it's for different reasons than you might think. And so the way things tie together, it kind of allows the mystery to be there, to where, there's really nothing generic about what's like the story that's being told, but also kind of the cultural insights that they're providing. Because, I mean, that's like, seeing everything that I saw, it's not any kind of like anything culturally that I've ever experienced or seen, especially seen on screen. And so like that whole thing was that was all just really fascinating to me, because in that moment I'm also just kind of like learning, I'm sure, all the people involved kind of had a lot of input as to just like what's seen, like what what cultural moments are shown, and you get to see how important that is to everyone. So, like, it makes me just like want to learn more, you know, and more than anything, it makes me want to be in New York. I'm sure people are not just like out singing in the street in New York, but that kind of sense of family, that sense of like everyone's there to survive, make it, that kind of, not quite hustle mentality, but like driven mentality.
Yeah, absolutely.
That they still go for being connected to their home base, being connected to their family and their community. That's powerful. I mean, that just like, it's hard not to just like want to be there, So yeah, that was a huge deal. I think probably the story I connected with most was Nina's, because I really related to hers, because I mean, I left school as well for this creative path, mainly because I felt like it wasn't the direction I was going, which was like engineering at the time, wasn't really something I actually cared about or felt like my life, like I would spend my life in that.
Right.
And I kind of wanted to be involved in something that connected with myself, like internally, but also was a way that I could kind of speak to, I don't know, some of the more deeper feelings, like emotions that people feel, and kind of display that. Because I don't know, I feel like we don't often see each other. And that's something you see in this film. That's something that she talks about without giving away too much. She talks about not quite being seen in that moment. And that's hard, because you can have the expectations of a bunch of people weighing on you, and that might not really fit exactly into what's important to you, but you still care, and so it's that struggle of trying to be supportive and trying to give your all and give what you feel is owed, but also be true to your own self. her story just exemplified that beautifully. I connected with her so much throughout this entire movie. So
Yeah, no, balance, man.
yeah,
Right? Balance is
balance
key to everything.
That is the key.
And it's so tough to pull off. But no, I know. I mean, I was going to ask you, like, thematically, what did you think about, everything that's going on? Because it's definitely trying to say a lot. And obviously, like, I enjoyed it because of how well it accomplished, like, being a musical and in that genre, and the choreography and the songs and the lyrics and the skill that is all put into that. But obviously, to me, like, people that I don't look like that are represented in this movie are going to take a lot more of it, to get a lot more out of it than I will ever even be able to comprehend. But not for lack of wanting to try to. It's just it's a cultural thing, and I know that there is and I know that this will mean a lot more to other people than it did maybe necessarily to me, but like I still had such a blast with it. Like I still got a lot out of it, and like to what you were saying about being able to relate to Nina's story, like, and then what everybody's abuela was saying about it being the little details. That kind of
that was
me
powerful.
Well, yeah, and I was gonna say, like, that's kind of what, even though I don't share that culture, like I wasn't raised in that culture or anything, like I still got to the point where it was like, oh, we shared these experiences still. We, like, you shared Nina's experiences, or I can definitely relate to having people's expectations weigh on you to a point that, like, you want to fulfill, exactly what you were talking about, fulfill their hopes and dreams in you while staying true to yourself, So those little threads and everything, that's how we can connect and relate to it, even if, it's not something that we know or are familiar with. But if there's any way, to get familiar with a different culture or a new culture that you haven't been a part of before, this is a good way to do it.
Yes.
So
100%.
Yeah. I had a blast with it. I really enjoyed it. I can't say enough good things about it. I feel like you feel the exact same way.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to be watching this a few more times.
Yeah, absolutely. It's one I will share with people for sure and be like, hey, you got to see this. But that said, on Tavern Talk, we usually do out of 5 stars. So for In the Heights, how would you rate it? Star rating.
Ooh. All right. Do we get to give, like...
You can do halves. You can do whatever you want. I'm
gonna do a 4.5 out of 5. The only half point I'm taking away is kind of superficial, but it's the end. Felt like it went a while. So like it felt like it was closing out for quite some time. But I wasn't mad at it because I mean there are a number of like songs that they did that I ended up loving the song, so I'm like, well, cool, draw it out. It's fine. But yeah, overall, I think it maybe could have just like tightened up the ending a little bit, but otherwise, it was basically a perfect movie to me.
Yeah, no, I'm right there with you. I'm gonna go 4.5 as well. It's definitely one of my favorite things I've seen this year. I really enjoyed it. Yeah, they could have tightened some stuff up a little bit, maybe trimmed down a few songs here and there. But like you said, I was having so much fun, like living in that world. I didn't mind staying in it for a little longer. So, highly recommend In the Heights from both of us, and definitely recommend seeing it on the big screen. If you have a movie tavern near you, definitely come here, check it out, watch it on the big screen. We always want to say thank you to the Movie Tavern for letting us shoot here and see the movies here and all that good stuff. And also thank you to you for watching, and if you haven't already, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, hit the notification bell so you get a notification every time we upload a new video, which we try to do every week. But thank you, Eric. I appreciate you for coming down, taking
to be here,
taking time out of your day.
Ready anytime you need me back for another one. This is dope.
Awesome. Well, thank you for joining us. Like I said, we'll definitely have you back sometime soon. Thank you guys again, and we'll see you next week. Peace.
Peace.
You're saying long passcode. It's like 10 years long.
I'll take that. It doesn't matter what my name is. I'll take that.
Oh, that's right.